Chapter 25, Azure Dragon. By now, someone had already come over to support the blood-sucking old demon. The bald-headed old man seemed to have a good relationship with the blood-sucking old demon. Walking over to him and whispering something, the Ghost King remained idle, smiling but silent, looking relaxed as if there were no imminent threat. The white-faced scholar standing next to him exchanged a glance with him. Kingsong Dogway, do you still remember your grandfather? Suddenly, a hoarse voice came over. The young disciples of the righteous path frowned together, but they saw that the one speaking was the ferocious-looking dwarf. At this moment, he was glaring at Kingsong, his eyes flashing with ferocity, much like a vicious wolf. Kingsong sneered, "Demon spawn, do you still remember the sword from back then?" At these words, everyone saw the muscles on the dwarf's face contort. His teeth clenched, clearly harboring deep hatred. But they saw him nod slowly, using his hand to gesture from his left shoulder to his right, diagonally across his chest, fiercely saying, "Good, good, I haven't forgotten." Unexpectedly, "You remember too? That's great. That sword, I naturally have to repay it on your body." Kingsong snorted and ignored him, turning his gaze to the two people who had been standing calmly on the side. Suru's expression became solemn. With her insight, she naturally noticed that these people were all experts, not weaker than the blood-sucking old demon just now. Most of them were probably long-last leaders of the demonic sects. Hearing Kingsong Taoist and the dwarf's conversation, Suru quietly asked Tia Bai beside her, "Who are these people?" Tia Bai's expression wasn't pleasant either, his brows furrowing as he said, "That dwarf is called Hunter Poison Z, from the venom sect of the demonic sects. The bald-headed old man is Duan Mu Laozu from Mount Jieshi, who has always acted alone within the demonic sects. These two, along with the blood-sucking old demon who has just caught his breath, are remnants of the demonic sects pursued by us 100 years ago. As for the two standing beside them, one seems to be the current head of the Ghost King sect mentioned by ZhuXian, but I've never seen the white-faced scholar before." Suru gasped, feeling a chill down her spine. 100 years ago, when the righteous and demonic factions clashed, she had not yet reached her cultivation level and had not ventured deep into the wilderness with Tia Bai and Kingsong Taoist. However, the names of these people were well known back then, especially Hunter Poison Z and Duan Mu Laozu, infamous figures who were no less terrifying than the blood-sucking old demon. At this moment, the bald-headed Duan Mu Laozu suddenly turned his head, looking towards the righteous sects, and sharply exclaimed, "Where is Wen Jianyi? Why hasn't that scoundrel Wen Jianyi come?" The young disciples of Qingyun were all puzzled, not knowing whom he was referring to. But Tia Bai, Kingsong Taoist, Suru, and the others changed their expressions abruptly. Tia Bai coldly said, "Senior brother Wan's cultivation is profound, transcending the mortal realm. He has long ascended to immortality. Only lowly demonic clowns like you, who bark madly here, remain." The demonic sect members were all stunned. 100 Poison Z, Duan Mu Laozu, including the blood-sucking old demon who had just regained his breath, all exclaimed, "Dead?" Even the Ghost King and the white-faced scholar standing aside seemed to tremble slightly. Wen Jianyi, a name unheard of among the younger generation of Qingyun disciples, seemed to possess a mysterious power over these demonic sect giants. They exchanged glances, their expressions somewhat subtle, their faces filled with hatred mingled with a hint of fear, but these emotions couldn't be concealed. In the depths of their eyes, there was a hint of joy. Duan Mu Laozu's face was complicated. He touched his bald head and muttered a few words, which no one heard clearly, but the last sentence was quite clear. "Hey hey, I never expected that scoundrel to die too. Hey hey, hey hey, HAHAHA double quotes." As he spoke, the man couldn't help but burst into laughter. The faces of the Qingyun disciples changed drastically. Kingsong Taoist stared at him, suddenly sneering, "What are you laughing at?" Although he is gone, under Qingyun, there are plenty of people capable of dealing with such demonic clowns like you, HMPH. A disdainful voice came from the side. It was Hunter Poison Z, speaking fiercely. "We can't kill him with our own hands," which is truly hard to swallow. "One day, we will come to Qingyun and crush him to pieces, making him restless even in death." The The blood-sucking old demon behind him cried out, "Right, that's what we're going to do, or it will be hard to dispel my 100 years of deep hatred." Everyone in the righteous path changed color, seeing these demonic sect scoundrels speaking so ruthlessly, not even sparing the deceased, filled them with indignation. Pia Linger quietly asked senior brother Songdare, "Senior brother, who is this when ... Senior brother Wan, it seems he's extremely formidable. Even these demonic sect scoundrels are afraid of him. Why have we never heard of him before?" Senior brother Songdoran's face showed astonishment. Still not recovered. He nodded slightly and whispered, "I heard Master mention him before. This ring is an extremely powerful magic treasure, a heavenly treasure, but it has been missing for 1,000 years. I didn't expect it to reappear today." Zhang Xiaofan took a deep breath, only to hear the white-faced scholar smile at Kingsong Taoist and say, "I am just an unknown junior, now under the command of the Ghost King, serving as a pawn." The Ghost King smiled and shook his head, saying, "Brother Long, you're too modest." Standing beside them, Bai Duzi, Duanmu Patriarch, and the blood-sucking old demon, along with the latter who had just arrived, all looked at the white-faced scholar referred to as Brother Long by the Ghost King. They saw his right hand hidden in his sleeve, unable to see what he held. However, considering Kingsong Taoist's affirmation and the scholar's lack of denial, it was likely true that he possessed this divine ring. Thinking of the various extraordinary abilities of this legendary divine ring, cultivators who value treasures couldn't help but feel a surge of heat throughout their bodies. Although the three of them appeared alongside the scholar, they were not from the same background and had never met him before. They only knew that not long after their arrival, this mysterious expert with profound cultivation appeared beside the Ghost King. At this moment, Bai Duzi glared fiercely at the scholar's right hand again, then turned to the Ghost King and said, "Lord Ghost King, we have never seen this brother before. We wonder when such an expert appear in the Ghost King sect." The Ghost King smiled and replied, "Brother Bai Duzi, our Ghost King sect is just a small sect of the holy religion, naturally inferior to your venomous sect." Bai Duzi snorted, as one of the important figures in the venomous sect. This was his first time coming out in 100 years under the orders of the sect master. Whether they came out or not, the affairs within the demonic cult were still clear to them. The current demonic cult was led by the four major sects. The Venomous Sect, Hewan Sect, and Longevity Hall were all major sects that rose after the decline of the blood refining hall 100 years ago. They had a long history and deep roots. Only the Ghost King sect emerged suddenly 300 years ago. Within 200 years, it had produced numerous experts, competing with the other three sects and gaining a foothold in the demonic cult, which was quite remarkable.